So hello everyone, welcome back to the third part of the movie app. So in the first part, this is what we did. We built this screen, the home screen, and also the view model for the movie list, the two movie lists, because we have two lists basically. And in the first part, we built the data layer. Now in the third part, we're going to build now the movies themselves. We're going to display the movies. So going back now to our home screen, we've created these two screens that we didn't actually create yet. Now we are going to create them. So just copy the name of the first one, which is the popular movie screen, and go to presentation in our movie list, create a new Kotlin class or file, just a file, and that is a function. So composable function fun popular movie screen, and this screen needs some parameters. The first thing it needs is the state, so movie state or movie list state, this one. And then the second thing is the nav controller to navigate to the data screen. So nav controller like this, or not nav controller, nav host, I'm sorry, needs a nav host controller. And then an on event function, because we also have events basically for paginating, we need to make that as an event. So an on event, that is a function, a lambda function that takes a movie list UI event and it returns unit like this. Now what we want to have inside the screen, let me just create space. And what we want to have here is, first of all, we want to check, so if movie list state dot is loading, so when we are loading, we're going to do something, and else we're going to do something else. Yes, so when we are loading, we want to have just a box that fills the max size, and it's just center its content, so content alignment center. Inside that, the content of the box, we'll just want to have a circular progress indicator, circular, to just tell the user that we're still loading something. But when we don't load, basically, when we have now the movies, we want to have a lazy vertical grid. And I already explained this in a video. You can go back to my channel and you'll find this if you don't know what a lazy vertical grid actually is. So the columns, I can either have them fixed or adaptive. In my case, I just want to have them adaptive, so based on the screen size, or also just fixed. So let's use fixed basically. So grid sales dot, let's say fixed, and then two, basically two items in each row, basically that's what this means. And then we don't need content. What we need is a modifier to fill the max size. But before the modifier, I can also have some content padding. Or let's start with the modifier fill max size, and then the content padding, that is padding values, and the padding vertically, that is going to be 8.dp, import dp, and horizontally that is going to be 4.dp. After that, inside now the content of our lazy vertical grid, we're going to now call the items function, this one, or just this one, that takes now the size, so movie list state dot popular movie list, this one dot size. Okay, technically you can put both the lists in one screen, so you can have this as one screen and then just pass something to it, a parameter, or just like actually you can't pass what the fuck do we call that, an argument, because we start with this and start destination, you can't really pass arguments to that, but you can pass a parameter to tell it this is the popular or the upcoming, but let's just put them in two different screens. So we need index, so we get index here. After that, we need to create now our movie item that I don't have yet, so I'm going to create it. So inside my presentation, I think I'm going to create a new package called components, and inside my components, I'm going to create a movie item, which is this item basically, with an image, a title, this rating bar, and these colors. Basically, as you can see, we get the average color from an image, you could call it, or the dominant color. After that, right here, let's create a new file called movie item, that's what I'm going to call it, not a Java, who still uses Java, Kotlin actually, movie item. and that is a fun composable like this. My movie item needs two things. First of all, the movie basically, and the nav controller, because from here we can navigate to the details screen. So nav host controller like this. The first thing we need to do as we get here is to load the image. So for image state, using Quail, which is the library that we have in our image list, not image list state, but image state, using the library that we have in our Gradle file. So remember assign image painter, and inside here we have a module that is image request from Quail dot builder. That builder needs context, so local context with current dot data, and that is movie API actually. So dot image base URL. I don't want to show it because I have my API key there, but we have a different base URL for images, and I already showed this in the first part of this course. So you can go and see it right there, or you can check the source code on GitHub and you can see it. I don't want to go there because I have my API key. I don't want anyone to see my API key. So movie dot backdrop path. We want the backdrop image. Okay, and dot size. So what backdrop is, just the URL or the ID of that image basically, and this is the base URL to get that image, and the size is going to be size dot original dot build. Actually, we can put this build in a new line. So last thing, dot state. Now we have a state for that image to know whether we have the image or not. After that, we want to have the average color for that image. So first we need to have a default value for that. If we don't have an image, then we don't have an average color. That's why we need to have now a default color for that. So default, you could call it color, is material theme dot color scheme dot secondary container. That's the default color. And now we're going to create now that color, which is the average color, or the dominant color actually. So dominant color not equal but by, because this is a mutable state dot mutable state of default color, import that, and this is actually a var because we want to change it later when we get the image, because we get it from the image. Now after this, what we're going to have is a column. My column needs a bunch of things, okay, which is just a modifier. We need to actually style this column really well to make it as beautiful as this. The first thing is that we want it to wrap the height content, so it will be as high as the content inside it. So dot wrap content height, and the width is going to be 200 dp. Import dp, not the weight, the width actually. And then we need the padding, so we're going to have 8.dp padding. We want to clip it and give it rounded corners, so rounded corner shape 28.dp. and then we want to have a background for that. So background, that we'll need to use a brush, so vertical, this one, vertical gradient, because that's a gradient. As you can see, it starts from this color, that is the primary container, and then it I don't know, what do we say, it goes to be the average color basically. That's why we need that gradient. I keep going to that movie, but anyway, so inside here we need to create now a list. So colors, which is a list of colors basically. The first color is the material theme dot color scheme dot secondary container, and the second color is our dominant color. And then we want to make our our modifier, our column clickable. And when we click, we need to navigate. So nav host controller dot navigate to the details screen dot details basically dot route, and then we pass the movie ID, because going back to the main activity, the screen accepts a movie ID as an argument, so like this, and then we pass the movie ID. That is our movie.id. I actually didn't make this ID if we go to the data layer. Just one thing I may have not talked about. Not remote, but local. As you can see in my entity, I didn't make the ID auto-generated because I already have an ID for the movie inside the API. And that's the ID I want to have actually, because that's the ID I can use to get more data about the movie if I want from different or the API calls from in that API basically. Okay, after that, this is it now for the modifier. Want to have our image, and the first thing, if we don't have the image state as assign image painter.state.error. So if there is an error, we don't have an image, we just have a box that takes a modifier, and then again this modifier needs some stuff like to fill the max width, and needs padding, which is 6.dp, and a height of 250 dp, like I don't know what I'm doing. 250 dp dot clip. We want to have rounded corners, round corner shape. Now 20.dp, and then the background is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot primary container, and we need to center the content. So content alignment center. Want to have our content, and right here we'll have an icon. That's what we want, an icon. The image vector is going to be icons dot default or rounded maybe dot image not supported or something, this one. And the content description is going to be the title of our movie, so item or movie dot title. We have an error here. What's that error? This one is not as, but is actually. So we just copy this. Now this is when we don't have an image. How if we have an image? What we are going to do? We're going to display the image. So first of all, change this to success, and we don't need this box anymore, but I'm just going to keep it to copy some or just delete this. We don't need it actually. We want to now first change the dominant color is equal to get average color, which is the function that I pasted there, and I already explained what that is. We pass a bitmap to it, and it returns a color, which is the average color in that bitmap. So to pass the bitmap, just go to a new line because to make it more beautiful. To pass the bitmap, we can say image state dot result dot drawable dot to bitmap dot as bitmap. That's how we can get the bitmap. Now we need to create the image. So image and import image modifier dot fill max width dot padding 6.dp dot height 215 dp dot clip rounded corner shape 22 dp, and then that's it. For the modifier, we need to have a painter now. So painter is going to be my image state dot painter, and then the content description is going to be movie dot title, and the content scale is going to be crop, just like center crop from XML. After the image, we want to have a little bit of space and then the title. So to have that space, so right here you can say spacer, and the modifier is going to be height 6.dp, and then the text. The title is going to be, of course, movie.title, and then we need a modifier. So let's put it at first right here. Modifier, we need just padding, basically padding start 16.dp, and then end 8.dp. After that, we need to have a color, which is always going to be white, so not a dynamic color, because this one, the average color, the dominant color, is always kind of dark, so we need white on top of it. And then we need to have a font size, which is 15.esp, import esp, and then max lines, we want to have 1 line in each one, each item basically. Set that to 1, and then after the text I want to have now my rating bar, which is this one. That rating bar is going to be inside a row that needs some modifier. Let's first import row, some modifier, dot fill max width, and then padding. Again, start is going to be 16.dp, I mean dp not sp, and bottom first is going to be 12.dp, and then top. Just I experimented this, and these are like the most beautiful values to use here. After that, we want to have content inside our row, which is our rating bar, which is this one. It's not coming from Jetpack Compose. I created it manually, and I made a video about this. You can check my channel and you find that video. So my rating bar, I want to have a stars modifier. This one is going to be a modifier, and just the size of the stars basically. Dot size, I'm going to give them 18.dp, and then the rating is going to be our movie dot vote average, divide that by 2, because this vote average like is from by 1, you can say. I don't know if you can say the movie is 7 or 7.5, something like that, but we only want to have 5 stars, which means half of that, so we divide that by 2. We want to have now a text for to show the votes or the rating inside our row. Directly like this, a modifier to have just some start padding of 4dp. We don't have int padding, just delete this. The text is going to be my vote average dot toString dot take 3, because the average, I'm not sure if I can see that inside an API here. So here we are in the API. If we check one of them, as you can see, vote average is contains like more than just 3. We only want to show 3 numbers basically. We want to show 7.2, but divide that by 2, it could be, I don't know, 3.1 or something, I don't know. So yeah, we want only to have 3. We don't want the entire thing. And then max lines, of course, 1. Make that a little bit smaller, 14 sp. And the color, we already have color. We don't want to have white, but actually light gray. Actually, I guess this is it for our item. And actually, yes, this is it for our item. Do we have an error right here? We can just delete this. And let's go back to our screen, to our popular movies screen, in which I will be calling my item. So item, in fact, it is called movie item, not item. That needs a movie, which is just put this in different lines. Movie is movie list state dot popular movie list, and passing the one in our index. The nav host controller is my nav controller. Just to make sure, this one is not the bottom nav controller. This one is the one that makes us navigate. So let's go to main activity. We have this nav controller. We pass this to home screen. Okay, and here it is in my home screen. Now I created a second one, and this one is only right here, used only in the home screen to just navigate between the 2 screens, which are these screens. So from here to here, that's why we have that bottom controller. But this one that I passed to home screen can take me actually from the home screen to a whole different screen, which is the details screen. That's exactly what I'm going to pass to the popular screen. So this popular screen needs 3 things before actually continue doing anything else. We need to pass the nav controller, the state, and the on event. So in my home screen, let's uncomment this, and then import it, passing our nav controller. After that, state, so movie list state is our movie state, and then the on event, which is my my view model, or movie view model on event. Okay, so basically this one is called movie state, and I think it should be called movie list state. I'm just going to rename it everywhere like this, just to have a better name. And now inside here, what we had is a movie item. After that we need a spacer, y spacer, to have some space between each item and another. So spacer 16.dp, and then we need to 16.dp what? That is the height. So take this height 16.dp. Now what we need to do right here is to paginate. So how do we paginate? So when we get to the last item, let's go to our app. If we scroll down, scroll all the way down, when we get to the last item, then we know we are in the last item, so we load new movies. That's how we get to the last item. And also checking if we're not loading. But basically I have made a mistake. This is not when is loading, but when the list is empty. So popular movie list dot is empty. So when the list is empty, we show a circular bar until we get new movies. Because if we say is loading, then once we actually get to try to paginate, then we are loading technically, and everything will be invisible, and this is what we are going to see, and we don't want that. So how do we now check if we are in the last item? By saying if index, because we already have index, is greater or equal to movie state dot popular movie list dot size -1. So that's how we know that we are in the last one. So if index is equal or greater than the size of the list, and we're not loading, so movie state dot is loading is actually false. That needs to be false. That's when we are loading, we don't want to reload new ones basically. And so this is how we know we are in the last item. So we can now paginate by saying on event movie list UI event dot paginate, and pass in the category, which is category dot, I think this is the wrong one, so category, this is the one dot popular in this case. So this is how we actually paginate. Now what I say is run the app actually, because we can now see the first list. Let's run the app and see. The app isn't showing anything for some reason, and let's see why. Okay, so the reason why the app wasn't showing anything is because this one should be not popular, but in fact upcoming, like this. Because what happened is that we did show the movies, but then on top of that we put this one, which is empty. That's why. Now let's run the app. So here is now our movies. We are fine getting the movies. Maybe this image is too small, I can get it a little bigger. So go into right here, where is that? In the item. When we don't have an image, we have this icon. What is it? Or just leave it as it is. It doesn't matter. You can change it if you want. You know, if we don't have an image, that's how it looks like. Now this one is empty. We don't have anything right there, so we can actually navigate, as you can see. But this one, we didn't create that one yet, and we can just create it by actually copying and pasting the one that we already have, the popular screen, the popular movie screen, and then upcoming. This one is also upcoming, and we can't preview anything. The only difference here is instead of popular, we're going to use upcoming. That's the difference. So let's just see here as well, here and right here and right here. Let me see if I have to change anything else. Upcoming. I think I don't have to change anything. So going back now, not here but the home screen, right here I can actually uncomment this, and it's already imported. I can just copy these and paste them, run the app. Hopefully we see the upcoming movies now. So these are the popular movies, and I think I have made a mistake because I keep seeing the same movies. So I'm going to check my view model and see what the problem is. Okay, the problem is not in the view model, it's right here. I thought I didn't load or I gave the list a wrong value, but it's just right there. As you can see now, I get new movies. These are the popular movies. When I go down, I should paginate, and actually yes, so I keep loading the movies and the page keeps increasing. Here as well, once I get down, I keep getting new movies and the page will increase. So if we check our logcat, we should be able to see that. So this is now the list of movies that we have. If we go up like this, Where is the page? We see that page is 4, and if we go like this, maybe it's 3, and yes, so the page is increasing. So now this is it for the third part of this playlist, in which we built now, as you can see, the screens, which we have all these movies, of course the popular and upcoming movies. Now one last part is left, in which we'll be building the details screen. As you can see, when we click on a movie, we go to the details screen, but we have nothing inside it. For the details screen, we need to create a view model and of course a state for that details screen and the screen itself. So see you in the next part. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and bye.